So now we need to create a function called AI, and AI is going to stand for artificial intelligence. And we need to set the return value of CheckInput as its argument. And so what does all that mean? Well, CheckInput is going to be run here, and that's going to jump up here. We're going to enter into the while loop, which is not going to let you return until the question here passes all of the checks that we set up, right? And you could see here the return type for CheckInput is the question that the user eventually typed in that was correct, right? And so that's going to jump back to where the function was originally called, which is down here on 44, and then the variable question is going to equal to the question that they typed in. So what we want to do here is we want to pass that question to the function AI. Okay, so we're not going to define AI just yet, but we can make a call to it, right? And we want to pass it question. So we do something like that. And then we need to define it. So let's come up here and maybe we can say def AI. And we can maybe print the question, right? And of course, if we are giving the function AI an argument, we need to receive it as a parameter, right? And I'm going to receive it in a temporary variable called Q, and then it's going to print out the question to the user. So we can check to see if this works, and we'll run it, ask the question. I'm going to ask a non-valid question, error message, repeat. I'm going to ask a real question, right? Will I fall in love, right, this year, question mark. And what should happen is this should jump to AI, print out the question. Okay, so we're going to do that, and it does, right? Jumps up to AI, prints out the question, and then moves on to the prompt to ask another question right here. Okay, and so just one thing I want to throw in the mix is that in programming, shorter code is always better code. All right, so what can we do to make this a bit shorter? Well, we can get rid of this question variable, right? We could just take the function call to CheckInput and drop it in as the argument to AI. Right? So you might be thinking, how does that work? Well, it's going to print out, ask the 8-ball a question. It's going to come here. It's going to try the compile. When I say it, I'm talking about the compiler, which is the program that runs the program, is going to try and run the function AI, but it needs to first evaluate this expression here, because that is not a value, right? That's not like a word. That's not a letter or a number that it could just pass straight to AI. It's an expression, right? Just like as if we put 5 plus 7, right? If we put 5 plus 7 in there, the compiler would need to evaluate that expression and do 5 plus 7 is 12, and then send the 12 to AI. In the same way, this function call is an expression, so it needs to evaluate that. So it's going to jump up to CheckInput. It's going to go into this while loop, keep checking for a valid question. Once it does pass all the checks, then it's going to return the question, the valid question, which is going to jump right back to where the function was called here. And then this function call is going to be replaced with the valid question, right? Will I fall in love this year? Like that. And then it's going to run AI. Jumps up to here. The temporary variable Q is equal to the question, and then it prints out the question, right? So yeah, that's kind of how that goes. And I guess the next step will be we're going to define AI in such a way that it will analyze the question that is in Q, look for some keywords, and based on those keywords, print out an intelligent response.